Jamaica has also been the largest recipient of Chinese investments in the Caribbean. How has that experience worked out for you?
China's been very good to Jamaica, and China's been a very good infrastructure development partner. We benefited from Chinese investment and Chinese loans, particularly during the period of time when there was a global recession, 2008 to 2010. And we used that to support the development of infrastructure, particularly our highways. And that has been an economic boom for us. But in terms of our debt profile, Chinese debt is approximately about 4% of Jamaica's overall debt. What we encourage is greater investment from China. And we're seeing that in many areas, particularly in infrastructure, construction particularly.
One of your ministers said that some of those investments and loans came at a time when the U.S. was busy doing other stuff.
I think the U.S., there's always the fear of Chinese influence in the region. But a large part of that is the attention the United States pays to its backyard, pays to the countries that are part of its third border.
Do you think the wars that we have ongoing right now are distracting the U.S. focus from the region?
And I think that the United States has great bandwidth. I think it has to be if it's a global superpower. So it's really a matter of where it sees its strategic interest and how it sees its third border, the Caribbean, as strategic in its global perspective. I think not enough attention is being paid to the region.
Greetings once again, my Jamaican people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And before I continue, I will request that you kindly hit the like, subscribe, and the share button, as this will go a long way in supporting my channel. Well, in today's episode, I'll be reviewing the recent silent issue about Jamaicans feeling like the Chinese are taking over their country. Well, this comes after a movement where we're getting to see that the Chinese government, under the Belt and Road initiatives, is taking major projects in Jamaica, infrastructure projects in Jamaica, and this is not sitting well with most Jamaicans. Kindly watch the rest of this episode while I come with my commentaries at the end of it.
The reason why I share that video is because I want to know for open on the eyes, because who have eyes can see and who have ears shall hear. You see, the wholesale system of Jamaica is one of the biggest sellout to the Jamaican system. Is one of the biggest dent what the financial system have right now in Jamaica. This is why Jamaica people them need to get rid of some of them Chinese people and them Chinese business that are now in the neighborhood. Me I go break down something to the people. And don't tell me say me I hate pan Chinese people. No, me not hate Chinese people. Me love black people. So me not like seeing nobody at disadvantage black people. So I have to talk on the behalf of black people. See? Because remember, justice is bigger than the law, people. So we have to talk about the justice. Because certain law need to change. You see, the wholesale law with them have a Jamaica are one of the biggest sellout to poor people. Imagine the Chinaman and you start a business the same year. And within 2 years, the Chinese man business is 10 times bigger than your business. You know why? Because the Chinaman manufacture him product. Him have him own ship when him ship him product pan. When him reach in your country, him buy out the wharf so the things them can come through the wharf. Duty free. Where you have to pay for the things them coming in your country. You have to buy things from for them manufacturer and you have to pay them for ship it. So you see, so you have 3 overhead costs already. When him not really have no overhead, all him have is investment and him make profit because the people on the ship, them have get pay. Everybody have get money. While you just spend out. For them things is more like an industry. But to get to the point how I say, me I try to show you. When the goods them reach Jamaica, them going on one thing named wholesale. Wholesale is supposed to be for supply retail business. You're not supposed to go in a wholesale and you don't own a business and can buy something. That's not wholesale, that's retail. The moment you can buy something without a business license, that's retail. People look at Jamaica, how many wholesale you see down there where you need a business license for going in. It's a big trick. And you see the trick in it is that them want to be able to sell retail, the Chinaman, to the general population. So when you know as a simple businessman, we say you have a local shop or stall, you go buy something from the wholesale. Figure sell but retail. It seems as if the things them where you buy at wholesale is almost the same price as retail. So when you put a little profit on it, you think them now sell because them too expensive. A man whether got the Chinaman go say I buy wholesale, but really and truly it's retail him buy. So the Chinaman already find a way of infiltrate that. Remember, so the Chinaman them find a strategy, you know, where them not import bootleg no more, you know. Them a make them in a Jamaica in a sweat factory, you know. And the government know about it, you know, because this is the reason why the Chinese people have now put them money in a bank. You know what the Chinese people them do with their money, then keep in a them house, and through them have the wharf. Everything can go through the wharf without check. Everything can come in without check. You understand? It seems as if some of them politicians, I wonder if them take Mali, because them so confident that them do a good job. And really and truly the country now move right. Because how long this are going and educative people in a parliament, we're supposed to understand how a spreadsheet work. I'm supposed to understand economic and know what is wholesale, retail. They're supposed to know what is manufacturing. They're supposed to know what is investing. So all the country are run some people. When see it's systematically planned, so the youth them don't have nothing. Because you see, if the youth them could have get some business license, you know how much youth would have be entrepreneur, you know how much business would have fail, but you know how much business would have prosper, you know how much youth would have in a better position. People look into me and say, logics, share that video, you hear me? And I know say, enough people, I gotta say this to make no sense because when you're scared of change, you have some people addicted to pain and scared of change. But sometimes, in order for better come, you have to accept changes. But make sure so when you change for the better. It's going to be worse for the youth them we have some little style where them are run illegal. Yes, we understand it. The only thing them need to do, I go set up them corporation and open them business and get them tax ID number and pay them tax. So at the end of the year, they can file for NHT. Them can make them business where them a work for, where them mother and father. Because some of them people I say have some local style, all 20 year, 30 year. It's a family business. But because it's never legal, them can't see the benefit of it. And the Chinaman coming at the country, making business legit. And within 2 to 3 years, he might repair benefit time business. Because the youth them have too much wholesale at Jamaica, but they can shop them from without license. Them need to have proper license, consumer license, to sell retail.
Don't like the way in which the Jamaican government has allowed the Chinese to come in and take over. I believe they own the major port there. I believe that the Jamaican government has given them lands in exchange for services. I believe they built at least one hospital there, a couple of schools. They had constructed a north-south highway or northwest highway that connects one part of the island to the other, so you don't have to drive all the way around to get there, which was necessary. But from what I read, in exchange for them building the highway, the Jamaican government has allowed them to keep, I believe, nearly all of the toll fees on that highway for a certain amount of years. We're giving up too much to get too little. And what bothers me the most about Jamaica, they are the most Pan-Africanist and the most unapologetic of the Caribbean islands. And so if China can take Jamaica, taking the rest of the Caribbean won't be that difficult.
These mechanics in Jamaica show about 20, 30 cars a day like clockwork, while Jamaican mechanics, they carry all stuck in the garage sometime for a whole week. But how did the Chinese get here? How did they set up shop so fast right in front of our eyes? And now Pika is checking immigration status after the fact? But the real question is this: how did we let this happen? The truth is, they came here with a plan. They came with discipline while we're still begging for a link and waiting for somebody to sort we out. And why are they so organized and we're not? While they conduct business, we are running around with our hustling mentality. Listen, foreigners are coming in, buying land, running businesses, owning Jamaica, and we're becoming visitors in our own land. Just like some places in Africa where people now work for foreigners in their own country. Sooner or later, the Chinese going to control the parts distribution and shut us out because these people did not come here to try. They came here to win. So everyone has been asking how the Chinese mechanics got into Jamaica. Well, here are the facts. Did you know that in 2015, Jamaica signed over the Kingston Freeport, our main port, our lifeline, to China, who has full control for 30 years? Now they control what comes in and they control what goes out. That's why the Chinese mechanics and other companies move the way they want. No one to answer to. No real checks. No oversight. They run the port, they hold the gate. Why do you think it's after the fact Pika stepped in? Because they don't even know what's going on. But somebody know. Because when it comes to these little things, don't think you can think on the same level you were programmed to think on. You have to change your frequency sometimes. And we're standing on the outside of our own house. We can't even act like we never know. Listen, we will never get out of slavery. Because a nation that can't even control its own port is a nation already conquered, just without the chains.
You know.
What you think about China and Africa and the relationship that's kind of happening there with development?
Great question. The short answer would be I don't know enough details to give you. I have suspicions, but I don't know enough details in Africa to give you an informed response. I've been in Jamaica a lot this year, so I can talk to you a bit more about Jamaica, because you can imagine I asked every Jamaican I could speak to what they thought about China's role in Jamaica. And what I could glean was, whatever we think of the Chinese, they are building infrastructure in Jamaica that Britain chose not to build in 300 years. This is just a simple fact of it. They've just cut the travel time to Montego Bay in half, which obviously what that does for the Jamaican economy and Jamaican business. Is there a worry? Should there be suspicion? Yes, of course. It's a major international power. Jamaica's a small island. However, what was interesting talking to most of the Jamaicans I spoke to, in fact all of them, even the ones that had a problem with the Chinese relationship there, when I said, what is it the Chinese are doing that American capital or British capital or French capital is not doing? What are the specific negative things that the Chinese are doing? And no one could name anything. So their gripes with the Chinese were gripes with capitalism, not gripes with the Chinese. The problem is, and those of you who are Caribbean will know this, there is a sort of slight anti-Chinese bigotry in the Caribbean, because they're the successful people it's okay to hate. You can't really hate white people, they have too much power in the Caribbean, and we've sort of learned that when white people die, there's big consequences. So Jamaicans in Jamaica, they sort of still admire Europeans despite that history. And there is this suspicion of the Chinese, and that's not to say that there is not valid reasons to be concerned. I'm just saying the suspicion is a suspicion rooted in their Chineseness, not rooted in the actual behaviors. One other example I'll give you. There are several projects that the Chinese have proposed in Jamaica that the Jamaican people said no to. The Jamaican government had to say no to. The Jamaican government then said no to the Chinese. What was the Chinese response? Was it to send the CIA in? And was it to overthrow the Jamaican democracy? Was it to cut off aid to Jamaica? No. They said, okay, we proposed a business deal, you said no. Here's another one. So, what I would put to people, and I can't say that this is the case in Africa because the power dynamics may be completely different. In the case of Jamaica, if the Jamaican government does not negotiate in the best interest of the Jamaican people, whose fault is that? The Chinese government is negotiating in the best interest of its people. The reason why I say that, because if we've told them no for 3 or 4 things already, and they haven't murdered us or bombed us or overthrown, then clearly we can keep telling them no if we don't like something. My fear, genuine fear, is that some of the crooked politicians in Jamaica will embezzle some of the money coming from China and then say, hey, look, the evil Chinese did it. I genuinely fear that as a possibility also. So I think we have to be, this is a situation that we have to manage very, very carefully, because there is an opportunity for the Caribbean at least to parlay a relationship with China slightly to its best interest. That does not mean China is on a charity project. That does not mean China does not have human rights abuses at home. That does not mean that China is there because they love Jamaican people. They're there to make money and do business. The question is, can Jamaica or other countries parlay their relationship with China to their benefit? If the question is no, then they should sever relationships with the Chinese. If the question is yes, the question is how do they do that? But I think we have to be very, very careful that the sort of yellow peril sort of vibe and the assumption that they will behave exactly the same as other major powers have behaved, it's not proven yet. And I'm not saying that I'm naive that they might also do that, but I'm just not. I don't think it's intelligent to approach that relationship, as I see a lot of people doing, with the assumption that it will be identical to relationships with other major powers in the region. Happy to be proved wrong, happy to learn more, but that was my assessment from talking to. Last example I'll give you on this. I know I keep saying that. When you go and see them building the roads in Jamaica, you see Chinese workers and black workers working next to each other in Jamaica. It's the first time in the history of the Caribbean anyone who wasn't black or Indian did manual labor. It's the truth. So it's a different attitude. You see the bosses are There's a Jamaican boss, there's a Chinese boss. You see the workers, there's a Chinese worker and there's Jamaican workers. Doesn't mean it's perfect. It's in no means perfect, but no country develops perfectly. So I think I have a bit more of a nuanced view of the Chinese, probably just because I'm biased as well. Part of it, the relationship, Jamaica's particular relationship with Britain and America has been so negative that I just don't want to allow that baggage to allow me to approach a new country that way. But Jamaicans in Jamaica may see it quite differently. There's people on both sides. Lots of people are like, I'm making loads of money out of the Chinese, so it's wonderful. Lots of people are like Bounty Killer criticised them recently, they're taking over the country, all this kind of stuff. But foreigners own most of Jamaica anyway. So when we say the Chinese are taking over, who are they taking over from? They're not taking over from Jamaicans, because Jamaicans don't own the country. So there were already foreigners owning. So what we're really complaining about is Chinese capital replacing American, Canadian, or British capital. But we never said the Americans were taking over, even though we pay 140% of our GDP to the IMF in some years.
The Chinese.
Yo, right now they must say China take over Jamaica, but me no business if China want to take over Jamaica. If China take over Jamaica, maybe it would be better for we. But one thing, China them for know, them can't start sell dog and them thing then a wholesale. And that will make Jamaica lick out on them. You see me? China, we no name frog, we no name dog and everything we no name, because we understand say we no know if we survive. Me nah lie still, Chinese people, we no make life easier, because we no make all this happier. You know, see say Facebook and Instagram, them are going like they don't want to make no money. All them are keep thing over America and them side there. It's hard to make money as a Jamaican on Facebook and Instagram. But TikTok now make enough Jamaican and make money, as it. Although them take half of the money, but I don't know if them take half of them make the app though, and them design a thing like that. China make life easier for we Jamaican, me nah lie. China just make life easier for we. China make cheap slippers so the youths them can have, every youth can wear a slippers. Remember one time when we grew up, we never used to have enough shoes, and so when China make shoes, we can have enough shoes now. China make all Desert King. Some shoes that look like Clarks. When they don't cut off a Desert King tag and wear that go to school, people think say a Clark said we. They don't know. With battery on that, well black. You see me? So China make things easier. China come to Jamaica and build up be a big highway, make we reach all that watch fast. We now have to take up them long hill up Mount Rasa. We just bump and see our highway and reach quick and fast to reach our watch. So China, if China take over Jamaica, right now we don't vote for all the China them over some of them government. I mean not lie, because China make life easier, dog. You see me? Me not lie, China make everything, every copy, everything, every dear thing out there you can't afford a dear one. China copy it and make a cheap one so everybody can have one. You see me? All if a fake. Now for the fake thing them China make, you have to stay from far and look for know say it's fake though. If the somebody with the name brand one, no skin over the tag and show you how long they have it for you. Now watch how long they have it for you, just see it aware. So if me a new China brand and you have the real one like that, you know, you know nothing over me brother. I want to tell you, some people think say clothes make them look good and me make clothes look good, man. You see it? That's how we do it, man. Just like when you have some sexy girl and them make clothes look good. You see it? Meds, man. You see it?
Just finally got in there. They finally made it to Jamaica. They've been searching for this loophole for years. A window of opportunity to go into Jamaica with U.S. military presence. And you may say what you want to say. They're there to help. That's good. Right? That they're there to help. But the ultimate thing is not to help the people of Jamaica. It's to push China out of Jamaica. That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Marco Rubio spoke about it. There's too much Chinese presence. President Barack Obama went to Jamaica on the same mission. You know what I'm saying? Now they have a window of opportunity, Hurricane Melissa. And they slid through that window. Now, like I've told you guys before, that there's a U.S. Air Force military airfield in Jamaica. It's called Vernon Field. Vernon Field airstrip, right, where they do drag racing. It was built by the U.S. Air Force, for those who don't know, in the 80s. That's the last time they had heavy U.S. military presence in Jamaica. And now you can see they use the opportunity of Hurricane Melissa. Okay, let's say they're there to help, but it's not the people that's the main thing. If you notice how fast BBC, Fox News, CSNBC, MSNBC, all these major news outlets just ended up in Jamaica. Boom, all of a sudden before the hurricane. You understand? We gotta look at the facts. Look at the facts. right? They just ended up in Jamaica before the hurricane, right? Covering the story in depth, in crevices and corner, that these big major news outlets like BBC, Fox News, MSNBC, those cameras have never been in those parts of Jamaica before. You understand what I'm saying? They covered it heavier than when Kamala Harris was running for president. It got more coverage. There's a reason for that. The reason is the United States want to establish a military presence in Jamaica to push Chinese government up out of there. That's it. So don't be crisscrossed, don't be fooled, and think, yeah, they're just here to help us. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of years they tear down Marcus Garvey's statue and erect a Confederate military general like Robert E. Lee or one of them Confederate generals from America in this spot. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me if they say, you know what, forget Marcus Garvey, because you know that the Trump administration, they don't like black history. So you understand? So I wouldn't be surprised. Be like, well, you know what? We're gonna erect one of our Confederate generals. You know, people, those generals who used to kill black people for a living back in the days of slavery in America. It wouldn't shock me if one of those statues end up in Jamaica somewhere. You understand? Yeah. So all the people out there, don't fool yourselves. Okay? Don't fool yourself and don't be fooled. Look what they're doing. You know how long America's been waiting for this? An opportunity to just climb through the window and establish a military presence in Jamaica? Years. Since the days of President Obama. They've been trying to get up in there. They've been trying for years to get up in there. You understand? Because they do not want China there. That's the bottom line. Why do you think Marco Rubio came to Jamaica? It's not for Duns River Falls. You understand? This is part of the business. And keep in mind that there's a heavy military presence, U.S. military presence in the Caribbean right now. Would say Venezuela, Trinidad, all these places, wherever. Heavy military presence. So they could just slide from, they could just go island hopping at any time. At any given time, they could just hop from island to island. You see what I'm saying? So that's where it's at. Yeah, all these major Fox News, BBC, 60 Minutes, all big ass news stations. You know what I'm saying? They don't love Jamaica that much. They don't love the people of Jamaica that much. There's a different agenda. America doesn't even love their own people. Right now, they're starving people in America. You understand? Cutting off their food stamp benefits and all this other SNAP benefits and all this other shit. So do you think they love you that much? A Jamaican person in a Jamaican country? Nah. The love ain't, it doesn't run that deep. They don't even like their own people. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so there's a different agenda and a different ulterior motive. Okay? Stay woke. Peace.
Well, if you've watched to this end, thank you once again, and let's get down to it. For most Jamaicans, we understand that there has always been a close relationship between Jamaica and China, and this goes back to the 19th century, where we get to see that there are some Chinese who came to work in Jamaica as indentured laborers. And these are considered as part of the Jamaican people, as you all understand the Jamaican motto, that is, out of many, one people. And this specific group of Chinese have been integrated into the Jamaican, culture, and have become one of the Jamaican people. In this episode today, I'm not talking about this specific group of Chinese. Instead, I'm talking about the new Chinese that have come into Jamaica. And this has been sponsored by the numerous government-to-government deals that have been made between Jamaica and China. And we are seeing that under the new project that is a collaboration between the Jamaican government under Andrew Holness and the Chinese government, popularly known as the Belt and Road Initiative, we are seeing that the Chinese government has been given major infrastructure projects, where we are getting to see that these companies are taking part in building some of the major highways, ports, bridges, and mining companies in Jamaica. One of the most notable projects that have been carried out by these Chinese companies include the North-South Highway project, that, as we understand, has been developed by a Chinese company known as the China Harbour Engineering Company. And in this deal, you are seeing that the Chinese government is taking full responsibility of building this highway, and it has become one of the major economic and infrastructural boosts from the Chinese government to the Jamaican people. And again, you're getting to see another project like the Southern Coast Highway, which again is being run by the Chinese government. And with this, we are seeing there's been a massive influx of Chinese influence in Jamaica, and more Chinese are coming to Jamaica to carry out major development issues, which, as we get to understand, has actually reduced the debt to GDP ratio in Jamaica, making it stand at better economic points compared to previous times. And again, looking at it from another beneficial point of view, getting to see that the deals between the Chinese government and Jamaica are far much better compared to the deals between the Jamaican government and the IMF, where we get to see that IMF has stricter policies that need to be covered in order for Jamaica to prove or meet its austerity measures. And with China, the policies seem to be simple, as Jamaica is using other means to try and recover or repay the debts to the Chinese government, in which, according to my recent research, stands at about $2 to $3 billion. And the Jamaican government, is finding other ways or other means of repaying back to China, and that is concession of some of these major infrastructural developments, like the North-South Highway, where we're getting to see that the Chinese company has been handed over the highway, in which it will get to collect tolls for a time amounting to 50 years, whereby it is believed by then it would have recollected its investments that it had used in developing the highway. And this, again, as you come to notice, is not sitting well with most Jamaican people. Other than that, we're seeing again the Chinese government taking over some crucial assets in Jamaica, like the ports and mining companies, especially when it comes to the most dominant resource in Jamaica, and that is bauxite mining, where in this process we're getting to see that aluminium is being produced. And there have been several Chinese companies that have taken over these mining companies, like the Gisco and the Alpat, where we're getting to see these companies taking full management and running the company, in which most of the benefits are going back to China and not actually benefiting the Jamaican people. And so the real question here is, who is actually benefiting from these types of deals between the Chinese government and the Jamaican government? Well, this is a question that has mostly lingered in the minds of most Jamaican people. And in this episode, as you've seen, most of them have come out to openly express their frustration, as they believe that these deal-to-deal agreements that are happening between the Chinese government and the Jamaican government is a modern form of neocolonialism, where we're getting to see that the Chinese government, despite of trying to be lenient or offering better deals to the Jamaican people, has this general atmosphere of either taking over Jamaica in case Jamaica fails to pay its debt back. And so for most Jamaican people, they have sentiments that are against these type of deals. And among other reasons, one of the major factors that has brought this type of feeling among the Jamaican people is openness by the Jamaican government when it comes to talking about how these deals have been made and what are the strings attached to this type of deal. As we understand, corruption is again another major issue in Jamaica, and we're getting to see that most of these deals that are done between these two countries, it's only a few individuals who end up benefiting, while the general public, that is the Jamaican people, end up suffering or pay for debts that they didn't understand how they went on, or the agreements that were there in the deal, in which the Jamaican government is never open about it. And other than that, the influx of these Chinese people into Jamaica has also caused certain economical calamity for the Jamaican people. A good example is to these infrastructure building companies that are settling in Jamaica, that is from the Chinese country. You're getting to see that most of these Chinese contractors come with their own laborers and engineers, and this ends up locking out Jamaicans from having opportunities to earn from these multi-billion-dollar projects. Hence, most of the resources earned during these construction projects don't end up benefiting the Jamaican people, but instead end up going back to the Chinese country. And this, again, doesn't sit well with most Jamaican people, who are also looking for these economic opportunities so that they can also benefit themselves. Other than that, we're getting to see that the more and more Chinese people, settle in the country, there is also other more businesses that these Chinese people are getting involved with. For example, the traditional moms and pop shops that were very dominant in Jamaica are closing down, mainly due to the fact that most of these Chinese individuals are setting up wholesale retail shops that are actually outselling the traditional mom and pop shop in Jamaica, leading to their closure. This actually translates to more and more Jamaicans lacking means of earning or of feeding themselves, leading to more economic pressure to them. And other than that, we're getting to see again from the mining companies, like the bauxite mining company that is mainly run by the Chinese government. You're seeing that the detrimental effect that this mining industry has to the environment is actually showing up among the Jamaican people, who have made multiple moves to go out and call this company, in which you're getting to see that the dust that is coming from these mining companies is affecting agriculture in the surrounding areas. And as you all understand, Jamaica being a tropical island mainly depends on farming as a way of sustaining itself. And so once this dust settles on the leaves of these plants, agriculture becomes impossible, as most of these plants dry out, leading to instances of famine and hunger among Jamaican people. And again, you're getting to see instances whereby these people found in this neighboring community also develop health complication issues, especially related to the respiratory issues, due to the massive amount of dust that is being released into the air by the bauxite mining company. So these are just some of the other major challenges that are coming with the Chinese government settling in Jamaica, and more Jamaicans are feeling like the current Jamaican regime that is under the leadership of Andrew Holness is actually selling out its Jamaican people to the modern neocolonialism powers, that is the Chinese government, and more Jamaicans are coming out to call this out. Well, this again marks the end of this episode. Kindly don't forget to share your thoughts and ideas with me in the comment section. Thank you for watching to this end, and see you in the next one.